Hello, people of YouTube land. It's me, Simon Miller, in my weird setup. Just because the way I have my home office, it's quite hard to actually put the camera anywhere where you have a decent background. I could do it using my webcam, but the webcam, as I look at it now and point and shout at it, is rubbish and has lag. I'll fix that, and eventually then you can get a nice background and it will be good. Anyway, enough nonsense. So, I don't do things like this very often, but 2018, new year, all that kind of nonsense where you're meant to do new things, even though that makes no sense, you just do it whenever. But let's just say that is the reason. Now, this is very flattering, and it's very humbling, and it's very nice, and I'm always surprised that anybody would want to watch anything I do. But I do get a lot of nice comments, and the reason I'm doing this now is over the Christmas period, where I get a lot of people struggle more than maybe other times of the year. I got a lot of nice people get in touch, and they just said very, very nice things, such as, Simon, your silly video where you dressed up like a YouTuber, or where you pretended to be a depressed man, or whatever, really made me laugh, and it really perked up my day. And they always ask me very nice questions. And they say things like, I struggle with anxiety, or I struggle with this, or I struggle with that. What are your opinions on it? Now, this may be over Twitter or through the Patreon or whatever, that kind of stuff. And it's really hard to answer that kind of question. And I do what I can. But I thought, if there's enough people that kind of want to hear me talk about that stuff, vlogging's a big deal on YouTube. I thought I'd give it a go. And if it's rubbish, it's rubbish. And if it's good, great, it's good. Maybe we can do more. So yeah, I thought I'd start with anxiety, right? It's a big, I don't want to say topic. That sounds ridiculous. It sounds like you're in school. The topic today, kids, is going to be anxiety. I hope you've done your notes. But yeah, so I thought, okay, well, that's something that I can probably talk about, or at least give my opinion on. And if there's an audience that wants to hear about that, then great. And we'll just sort of play it by ear. So I thought I'd put up on a Sunday, because Sunday's like a lazy day, and then it's kind of like some magical day where you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we're getting way off track. So I think the first thing, relating it back to when people get in touch with me and they say, look, I struggle with anxiety. What I get is, Simon, you come across like a very positive chap, be it on the internet or on videos. How do I come across in that way? And the truth of the matter is that we all suffer from anxiety. Like, just because I'm not saying I put on a persona when it's still the real me. However, you do ham it up to the camera a little bit, of course, because you're presenting. If someone if you watch the news, for example, someone was like, yeah, whatever, it would feel awkward. Or even the small things, right? When you go on a plane and you hear the pilot's voice come over the tannoy, you want to feel confident and you want it to feel like, yeah, I'm going to be okay, because some people get scared of flying. So I don't think positivity and anxiety are mutually exclusive. I think you can be a positive person and still suffer from anxiety, because anxiety actually, in the right situation, is a good thing, right? It's your flight or fight response, or whatever they call it. If you're crossing the road and a car's coming towards you and you don't get the fear and you don't get anxious, the car will just hit you and you could die. So in that sense, anxiety is really important, actually keeps you alive. However, what I understand the point of all this is a lot of people suffer with it at times when they'd rather not suffer with it. And a lot of people suffer it when they wake up in the morning and they have to get on with their day, be that family, work, school, whatever. Things that you have to do, and you struggle because it's even hard to get out of bed. Now, a positive attitude, tying into, again, to the things people have said to me, is of course going to help with that a little bit, but it's not like an eradicator. It will give you a more, the way I look at it is, if you put out a positive vibe, you usually get positive vibes back. It's the same with negativity. You put out a negative vibe, you get negative vibes back. But it's not, it's not all suddenly going to make your anxiety flutter away, because unfortunately that's not how it works. So I'm going to talk about my anxiety from my own perspective, because I don't know, it's going to be something, it's going to be a trigger or something in your life, or a self-confidence thing, or, it'll be something within you and your experiences, and I can't talk about that. But, I'm not ashamed or upset or worried to admit that I still suffer with anxiety in the same way that everybody does. No one gets through a year without being anxious or worried about something. However, way back when I was in university, I was a young man and wasn't old. And, I look old now, mostly because this light is shining in my face and making everything look worse. That's another issue for another day. I suffer with anxiety. And to this day, I can't tell you what the hell happened. I was in my second year of university, and I literally woke up one day, and I was like, what the flip is that? I don't feel on edge. And that lasted a long damn time. I went through, it was weird actually, I went through my entire second year of university feeling, on edge, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I think the pattern a lot of us fall into, or certainly I did, is you wake up and the reason that you kind of trigger your anxiety is because you get anxious about feeling anxious. You wake up and think, I really hope I don't feel anxious today. And then straight away, you've told your brain to fall back into that pattern. And it is a pattern. It becomes a routine. And it's trying to break that routine. Now, somehow in my third year of university, I did manage to break that. Unfortunately, I don't know how. And then when I came out of university, in hindsight, probably because I was terrified about leaving the comfort of university and going into this, big bad world, it came back. And I had a job at Cineworld at the time, worst job I ever had. However, I did do some funny stuff with my mate Trev. I don't even watch my videos. Trevor Thomas, he was such a good guy. He moved back to Australia. I miss him every day. Kind of. Yeah, I worked at this cinema job, and the best thing we ever did is one day we decided, and now it's actually quite a thing, but it wasn't, this is a long time ago. We mixed one of the jobs was you did concessions, you did, what do you call it, ushering, and one of them was the popper, because Cineworld made their own popcorn on site. So me and I shouldn't say this, probably get in trouble, but we mixed the sweet and salt popcorn together. We destroyed the ingredients in there on the day that whatever the Harry Potter film was releasing. The queue after that movie was hilarious. Everyone moaning, what the hell was this popcorn? I probably shouldn't mention that. Don't tell Cineworld that I told you that. So my point being is I did have a lot of fun there, but I went to work every day, feeling incredible, anxious. My appetite suffered, which for me is massive. I have a huge appetite and I eat like a pig, a glutton. I should be ashamed of myself. And it did make life really hard. Of course it did. Because, even in those fleeting moments where I didn't feel like it, when you become aware, I don't feel like it, bam, you fall right back into it. So I'm guessing that's kind of a similar pattern that other people, hashtag pattern, I've used that a lot, but that's what people fall back into. And yet it is, there's no two ways about it. It is tough, and there's nothing I can say or do here, unfortunately, that is magically going to make it go away, other than say, it's actually okay to feel anxious. Anxious is an emotion. It's like some people don't like to cry, right? Because you can't cry. It's embarrassing, but crying is an emotion. And the reason we have those emotions is because sometimes we need to get those emotions out. And there's a reason for that. It could be one of many reasons. And from my perspective anyway, I think why a lot of people's anxiety, again, I'm talking very broadly here, you may watch this and go, that's bullshit, Miller, and it probably is. But I think, one of the reasons that maybe some people's anxieties is worse because they feel negative about, well, not negative, but they feel like, I shouldn't feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. And of course you don't. And I think when you start fighting with your own emotions, that's a slippery slope, right? Same with anything. If you try and stop yourself crying, what happens? You want to cry more. And I think it's the same thing with anxiety. If you punish yourself or feel bad or, just feel like, why can everybody else walk around and deal with this and not me? Well, the secret is that no one feels okay. No one. Everyone, every day is just a 24-hour period where you've got to come up with ways to cope, to get through it. And that is the truth. I don't care what anybody else says. I truly believe that. And that's why you see, famous celebrities with loads of money and it looks like they're living the dream, they're famous. Why have they got any problems? Because it's nothing to do with that. It's about your brain and it's about your experiences and it's about your past and it's about your future. It's about what you worry is going to happen over the next few years, months, whatever. And that is what it's all about. And on that note, that's why I think it's really important for people that do suffer with anxiety. And I get it, like I say, you fall into this, this routine where you feel like you can't break it, and that makes it worse. You feel like I shouldn't feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. No one else feels this way. Well, they do. I promise they do. And of course, me saying these things isn't going to be like a light switch, and all of a sudden you feel miraculously better about it. Of course not. However, you can't take any solace in the sense that you are not alone. Everybody feels it. Literally every single person on earth, no matter what their situation, hopefully that will give you maybe a teeny bit of a boost. I'm not saying I'm some magical man or this is a miraculous recovery video, because of course it's not. But I don't think it gets said enough, quite frankly. I think, whatever you've got to do to deal with it or manage it is exactly what you should do. There is no right or wrong. But I think sometimes it's all right just to come out and say, look, we all suffer from anxiety. We all struggle day to day, even those that seem to be incredibly successful. And that's all right. And that's okay. And, in your darkest moments, remember that you're not alone. And everyone is feeling the same thing too. Now, I don't do much vlogging or anything like that, as I already said. So leave a comment below. Let me know if you want more of this, less of this. Maybe share your own anxiety issues there as well. That may help. But if I see anyone being a tool bag, I will come after you. Don't forget. I still Master Troll Man, my official name, so none of that bull crap, because you'll get it. I'll come after you. Come talk to me on Twitter at Samra316. Just pimping stuff now. I'm just trying to tie it in. Ultimately, though, yeah, if you want to see more stuff like this, let me know. Use the comments for that as well. Let's use the comments for good, you see? Positivity brings positivity. Miller, stop doing this. I can stop. I know that's good. Say it in a nice way. Well, no, Miller, this is great. Do more. I can do more. But yeah, thank you for everyone that says my daft videos has helped them in some way. That is incredibly humbling because it is just me usually running around in a hat. That's just kind of the extent of my humor. But more importantly than that, you will be all right. I'm going to believe so anyway. This is my putting a positive vibe out there and hoping that works the other way as well. I know you'll be all right because one way or another you'll just be all right. And yeah, that's it. I'll just sign off. It's not hard to sign these off, isn't it? Usually there's like a punchline or something funny, or I punch myself in the face. Got none of that, so I'll just do this, and it will end.